Go. Well, welcome to Wellness Foreplay, episode 3 with Dr. Dondi and Marcy Nettles. We are your hosts today, and before we get into the information, we want to make sure that we share something with you. The information that we are going to share with you is for educational purposes only.
Yes.
And maybe the entertainment value.
Yeah, you might
we
get
are
a few
not
giggles.
making any health claims. We are not providing any information. We are not intended to treat, diagnose, cure, or do anything with any medical diagnosis or disease. It is for informational purposes, educational purposes, and entertainment value only.
Well, but it also might give you some information that can help you have better wellness.
Yeah.
So that's
We're
really
trying to
our
empower
ultimate,
you
our
to
ultimate
be
goal.
Self-sufficient and your own health advocate by
Yeah.
educating you and giving you some background. So giving you some information to back up your own argument and encourage you to go do more research on your own.
For sure. And by the way, I am a former police detective and you are.
I'm a former family wellness chiropractor.
And so together we are now doing investigations into health and wellness.
Yes.
Because we know that knowledge truly is the foreplay to your wellness journey. Okay. So that's why we're here. And we're excited because it's episode 3 today. And our topic, it's an awesome one. Might be a little shitty sometimes too. Oh, poopy. Sorry.
PG-13 alert.
But it's all about the basics of gut
Didn't
health.
see that coming.
Sorry, guys. You know, this is an adult show, right? But still, we're going to be talking some basics, and it's really all about your gut health. And it's super, super important for you to have these basics, okay? So every single episode, we're going to be coming to you with 4 different questions.
4 questions.
On one new topic each day, okay? Those 4 questions are going to be super basic, but they're going to help you start thinking about things like Dondi said that you can start looking into further for yourself. So this episode is the basics of gut health.
Gut health.
Okay, so the questions that we're going to be answering today is first, what is it? Second is, why is it important? The third question is, how do you know if yours is good? And the fourth is, what basic steps can you take to ensure that it is good? Okay, so those are the 4 questions, super basic, but it is on one of the most, well, I won't say most important, but a really important topic of your gut health. So
Yes.
we ready to get started?
We're ready to get started.
Awesome. Okay, so that first question, what is it? What is gut health? What is your gut, right? So these are the bullet points that we're going to be working off of today under this question. So it's creating and maintaining an optimal environment from the entrance to your exit, or as Dondi prefers to say.
Yeah, I was just going to have to tell you, it's from your pie hole to your bung hole. That's gut. Your gut is your pie hole to your bung hole and everywhere in between.
So from where it goes
so we're
in
clear.
to where it comes out,
Right.
that has to do with your gut health, right? So remember last episode, we talked about the immune system, right? And we said that the immune system was your private military that goes into battle. Anytime anything foreign tries to enter your body to try to make you sick, right? So let's talk about gut health and what it means to your immune system here, because your gut is actually like the command center of our health. And this is, where basically your immune system gets its orders from. So that's really in a snippet what gut health is, what your gut is all about. So keeping it very simple here today, okay? So is there anything here in those 2 bullet points that stick out for you before second question? Because it's really pretty basic there. Like you said, it's whatever goes in, what it comes out.
And what stays in is what your body needs. That's how you provide for yourself. But yeah, how important is the gut is that literally 40% of your immune system, which we talked about last episode, 40% of the power of your immune system is in your gut. Very important.
Okay. So guys, here, I'm going to prompt you again. All right. So many of you will be listening to this on our podcast as we get this up. And many of you are on here with us live as we're doing this. And we know that there's so many other people that aren't listening right now. How many people do you know of that wonder about their gut and their health of their gut and what they can do about it. Do us a favor, make sure that you are first, you're following both of us, Dr. Dondi, Marcy Nettles, that you subscribe to us. Make sure that you know about the Dondi and Marcy Nettles YouTube channel. Shortly, we're going to have dondiandmarcy.com. So you can go there and find it all. And then we'll be publishing to other podcast platforms as well. But thank you so much for sharing as you do so, because what we're doing here is, like we said already, foreplay is pretty important.
It is.
And it's much better when you do it with other people. And that's what we're here to help you with, is your wellness foreplay. Okay.
Every episode.
Probably. I'm surprised he's not blushing right now too, right? Not blushing.
And just so everyone is clear, we're over here on Marcy's YouTube channel, or on Marcy's Facebook page. We're over here on my Facebook page. We're on Zoom, and we're on our business platform on Facebook, all at the same time. And we're recording for posting it to our podcast. So this is going to be a multifaceted approach. So some of you are going to be able to see it live, like the ones that are tuned in right now. And some of you aren't going to see it at all. You're going to hear it on the podcast. So just keep that in mind. Some of this is for your audible pleasure. Some of it is for your visual pleasure. Some of it is for both. And some of it, as you determine, who knows where it's going to go. You never know what's going to come out of our mouth.
Today
Clearly,
we're talking about what goes in and where it comes
PG-13
out.
Outbreak
Right?
there.
All right, so let's get going here to question number 2. Okay, so question number 2 about gut health is, why is it important? So the bullet points here is, if your gut is sick, it gives bad orders to other systems of your body and they respond poorly. For example, autoimmune disorders. That's a big deal. Is there anything you want to say here before we move to the next bullet point?
And just the basic framework of why you even have a gut is because everything that goes in the pie hole before it goes out the bung hole is what your body absorbs to make you. So it's very, very important that if you're going to be spending your time and your money on organic fruits and vegetables, free range chickens, grass-fed and finished beef, or line-caught fish, if you're going to be taking the time to be so specific and particular with your health, with the building blocks, your nutrition of health, it's very important that your gut is able to digest it. Because here's the reality. If your gut is not healthy, it doesn't matter whether you eat a Happy Meal or the most organic free-range meal you can buy. If your gut is not healthy, it's not what you eat that matters. It's what you absorb that matters. Wow. And that is all in your gut.
You know what, guys, that's really big right there, because there's so many people that are looking for ways that they can eat better, right? Yeah. Have better options and choices in what they're putting into their bodies. But if you don't focus and, first of all, identify whether or not you have a healthy gut, really, that food that you're spending more money on, because, eating well does cost more money. It's a good priority. It's something good to spend your money on. But if you're not having the focus on your gut and understanding the importance of its health, you might as well just be eating those Happy Meals.
Yeah, and we're not advocating Happy Meals.
No,
we're advocating good gut health.
Yes.
Because, like Marcy said, when you spend the money on those things, and it's very important, good nutrition, you cannot underestimate that. Did I say that right? You can't, just put it this way, whether I say it underestimate nutrition is critically important to your health. So if you're going to be buying it, it's very imperative that you're absorbing it too, so that you don't have to go.
So you're not.
I realize the more I'm talking on that, I'm digging the hole. So just eat right and make every effort to absorb what you eat, and we're all good.
Well, we just want you to get the benefit out of your money, right?
Yeah.
Because if your health's not, or your gut health is not good, then it's kind of like taking that dollar bill and going just straight to the toilet and flushing it, right? And so we don't want you doing that with your money, and we want your health to be optimal, right? So that's why we're coming to you with these Wellness Foreplay episodes. All right. So the next bullet point that we have here on why it's important, it is directly connected to your brain, skin, mouth, blood, metabolism, and on and on and on.
Everything.
We could talk about all of the different things that go into making up who you are. And if you want everything that goes into making up who you are to be optimal, you got to start with your gut health.
Yeah.
You got to look at it.
Amen.
For sure. And then the last bullet point underneath why it's important, back to the immune system, guys. 40% of your immune system comes from your gut. That's a lot.
That's a lot. Most people don't even give it credit.
Mhm.
The credit it deserves. Your immune system is critically important, and the gut health to the contribution of your immune system is critically important.
Yeah, and overall awareness of your immune system and the importance of it has really gone up in the
Seriously,
past,
especially now.
year, right? In the past year, people have become much more aware of the immune system and how important it is. So now we just want you to be able to optimize it, okay? And you got to start with your gut.
Yes.
Now ready for third question, number 3?
Yeah.
All right, number 3. This is going to be the fun one, guys.
Oh,
this
is
the
DIY part of it.
Yes, this is where we're going to give you assignments, and you're going to actually go check it out and figure out if you have a healthy gut. Okay. So question number 3 is, how do you know if yours is good?
Your gut health, that means we're talking about.
Yeah, your gut health. How do you know if your gut health is good? Well, there are specific identifiers. I mean, even it's like, okay, so we're gonna start talking about poop, guys. So if you don't like to talk about poop, you just might want to, say bye-bye.
Switch.
But if you're worried or wanting to make sure that your gut health is the best it can be, you gotta look at it. So we're going to give you some examples here. And actually, if you're on the Facebook Lives or watching the YouTube, I'm going to share the screen here. If you are watching or listening to the podcast or just the audio, then you're going to be able to go to the show notes. And by the way, if you're on here with us live on Facebook right now, you're not going to be able to see the screen unless you're on the Possibilities from Home Facebook page. But you will be able to we're going to put this link into the notes as well. Yeah, I'll show you a picture of it.
What the form looks like.
So guys, this is what we're looking at on the live screens. So it's the Bristol stool chart. So this is showing all kinds of different kinds of poops, from good or bad to good to bad again, right? So we're going to talk about these different poop.
And before you do this undertaking, because this is going to be step 2, that we're the checking your poop out and figuring out on the Bristol chart what type do you have is very important. And when you figure it out, invite the family to come look, especially your significant other. Say, look, I'm type 4. What are you? And drop a challenge. Even drop it in the make a Facebook post about it. Hashtag type 4. Hashtag Bristol type 4 and put a challenge out there. What's your poop look like? Because even though we're joking about it, it's dead serious. We are dead serious. Your poop is to your health and the evaluation of your health, or its demonstration of or revealing of your health is the same that the oil is to your car. When a mechanic does a tune-up, or they're looking to establish what health is your car in, one of the most critical things is looking at the oil.
Yeah.
Well, to determine the health of the human body, one of the most critical things is to look at your poop. Now, I said, look, this is not a hands-on experiment.
No.
Okay. No need to put gloves on and dive in. Just observe with this chart as a reference, and that will give you a very good indicator of where you are. You want to be type 3, type 4, ideally type 4.
Okay, so when we're looking here at this chart, type 1, and I'm actually going to give you descriptions of the different types here. Okay, so even if you're only able to listen to the audible right now, then you're going to have a good description of what we're talking about on each of these types.
Close your eyes and
type
imagine.
1, yes, just imagine this. As a matter of fact, if you're driving, pull over so you can imagine poop. Right?
It's that important. It's important.
It is. Prioritize your gut health, guys.
This is powerful poo we're talking about.
So type 1 is separate hard lumps, kind of like nuts, and it can be really hard to pass. Okay. You're a nut. I'm not a nut. He's a nut. So number 1 is separate hard lumps, and it's kind of like nuts texture, and it's hard to pass. Okay, that's type 1.
For those of you who have ever seen or had goats or rabbits, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Rabbit and goat poop.
Yeah, and maybe even harder. So type 2.
In shape, I meant.
Yes.
Yeah.
And type 2 is sausage shaped but lumpy. Okay, so it's stuck together, but it's lumpy. So it's not smooth texture, it's lumpy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then type 3 is like a sausage, but with cracks on the surface. Okay. Type 4 is where you want to be.
Type 4 is where you want to
Yeah,
be.
if you don't have type 4 poop, be jealous of other people that do and then go do what you need to do to get it,
Yeah.
right? So type 4 is like a sausage or a snake. It's smooth and soft. Okay, so this is the target. This is where we want to be. This is where you know that your gut health is good, is when you have type 4, hashtag type 4, right? Poop.
and also let me have another, doesn't list it on here, but it also large diameter,
Yes.
like 50-cent piece diameter, because if it's snake-like and sausage-like and smooth but small,
Really small
in diameter, you may have inflammation in your bowel. That's not good. You want a normal large diameter, large size bowel movement, which is indicative of the optimal health of your colon
So
and your gut as a whole.
what's large size and
Like
diameter?
50-cent piece diameter, bigger
Okay.
than a quarter, from a
Okay.
quarter size diameter up to 50-cent piece diameter.
Okay, so I got a good example on that. So instead of just the regular hot dog in diameter,
Like a
you
banana.
want the corn dog. You want
you
the
go.
corn running outside of it. Okay, so the diameter of a corn dog. There you
Why
go.
did I think of cornhole when you
I
talk
don't
about
know.
corn
Stop,
dog?
stop.
Oh my
All right, so
gosh.
type 5 is soft blobs with clear cut edges.
Mhm.
Okay, so it's soft blobs, not connected, not stuck together, with clear cut edges. And then type 6 is fluffy pieces with ragged edges.
Ragged edges.
I almost said raged. Your poop's kind of enraged in this, but fluffy pieces with ragged edges, and kind of a mushy stool. That's what it's, mushy. I'm like making this girl's face because yeah, we're talking poop right now. And then type 7 is it's watery, no solid pieces, and entirely liquid. Okay, guys. So remember, the target here is 4 is where you want to be. Okay, in this Bristol stool chart. So,
and let me just give 2 basic things here. The type 1 is going to have 2 common denominators. And as we go down the scale, top of the scale is going to be dehydration and length of time in your colon. The more dehydrated you are, the closer at the top of this reference chart you're going to be. And the longer your food has been in your colon, the closer to the top you're going to be. The more hydrated you are, it will bring you down the scale. And the quicker amount of time the food is in your colon will bring you down the scale. Digestion time is also very critical to your health and overall importance of your gut health.
yeah. Okay. So now that you can go, and this is an assignment, by the way, you need to go and you need to either print this out or pull it up, and you need to seriously evaluate your poop. I know it sounds weird, but it's really the only way.
This is very serious.
Yeah, it's really the only way that you'll really be able to get an idea of what your gut health is like, is by actually evaluating your poop. So crazy, right? So I'm going to stop this share here. And then I have a question for you really quick here. And it's like, when it comes to poop, how many times should you really be pooping in a day?
Well, it really depends on how many meals you've had that day. So there's another way. There's a very important way to evaluate this, because we want to, and what I was just saying on the Bristol chart, the time of the time your food stays inside your body before it exits as poop is where you get your good nutrition from. So imagine, take any kind of food, whether you're eating plant-based, whether you're eating all-around based, whether you're eating more keto, it doesn't matter. Take the food that you will consume and leave it on a plate at room temperature. How long will it take? Hours, days, weeks before it starts to stink? Because you do not want to be digesting spoiled, rotten, stinky food. You want to be digesting and absorbing fresh food. So the key here is the longer, whatever you're eating, because you can take vegetables, put it on a plate at room temperature, and within 4 to 5 days, it's going to start stinking because it's starting to break down and rot. You don't want that in your stomach. So how do we evaluate this? There's a very simple procedure. It doesn't cost you anything. You probably already have some in your pantry, or you can go get some. It's corn. Corn, whether it's corn on the cob or a can of corn. Corn is made of a simple sugar called cellulose. You don't have the enzyme in your body to break it down. So it's a very good visual indicator of how efficient or inefficient your digestion is. So here's your challenge. Preferably an afternoon or evening meal. Eat corn, about a cup of corn in a can, or a cup or an entire corn on the cob. And then write down the time you took your last bite. Write it down. And then keep your eyes peeled for the first signs of corn in your bowel movement. Whatever that time is, take that time in hours. So let me give you a quick reference. 6 to 8 hours after you eat food, it should be through your stomach and through your small intestine going into your colon, where it may sit for the next 6 hours to 24 hours, depending upon what it is. The more fruits, vegetables, simple sugars will exit quicker. The bowel movements made of plant-based things exit quicker than the ones made of animal proteins, because it takes longer to break down animal proteins. But here's the thing. Target between 12 and 18 hours, ideally. When you get beyond 24 hours, from the time you take your last bite of corn and the first time you see it in your bowel movement, beyond 24 hours, we're starting to get into inefficiency, digestive inefficiency, which can be contributed by dehydration, improper gut flora, and we're just keeping it basic here. But here's your challenge. On the Bristol scale, figure out what type you are, and do the corn test at home and figure out what is your elapsed time. 12 to 18 hours is ideal. After 24 hours, we start getting a little bit concerned. When it goes beyond 24, 48, 72 hours, it's almost danger, Will Robinson. We don't want stuff in your body that long. We want it to be vacating properly. So it's kind of thinking about this, about your frequency thing. Think of it like a car wash. You've all been to a car wash. One car in, one car out. One meal in, one meal out. One car in, one car in, one car in, one car out, back up. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you have 3 meals a day and you have 1 bowel movement a day, something's wrong. You should have, ideally, once you figure out, and this is the key, once you figure out your digestive time using the corn. So the corn is to your gut what the canary is to the coal mine. Okay. It's measuring the health. Once you know what your time is, then from the moment you eat breakfast, however long of a distance in time from the time you eat lunch, however long that distance is in the time you eat dinner, starting with whatever that hour is of your corn efficiency, every sequence of hours after that, you should be having another bowel movement. So if you eat meals 6 hours apart, if you eat 3 meals 6 hours apart, you should have 3 bowel movements 6 hours apart.
Yeah.
That's efficiency. If you deviate from that, we've got to start analyzing it to make changes, and analyze it with your corn test and with your Bristol type. That's going to give us the starting point on which you can now move elsewhere, or you can start adding things in, more water, better digestion, and better food choices.
Yes.
More exercising, moving around, getting your body moving, etc.
There's so many different things that go into bad gut health too. It's like, for me, a lot of my experience in the past has been with a bad gut, whether it is because of spine surgeries that I've had, prescription medication I've been on, painkillers that have created issues inside my gut, different things. I have experienced the worst of the worst when we're talking about, what it can feel like, being gassy, being constipated, having just horrible energy, and having my emotions really attacked because of this too. Because remember what we said before, your gut health is really connected to just about everything that's going on inside of you, right? And that's why, even though we're laughing and we're making fun here, this is a really, really important topic. And that's why we're bringing it to you. And we hope that you'll share this out with everybody that you know, one way or the other, because everybody needs to know that their wellness really starts in their gut. Okay. So important there. And that's how you can self-identify it yourself, is right there with the Bristol test, as well as the corn test. And just really kind of thinking about, okay, so how often am I having, to go to the bathroom, and eliminating, right? Because you need to know where you're starting out from. Okay. And then keep in mind, this is just the basics. We're going to be bringing you more information on this in the next couple episodes, and probably more than that even.
Take a deeper dive.
Yeah. So the question number 4 we want to address here, because we also want to keep these between 25 and 30 minutes. Ideally, we don't want to go longer than that. So question number 4 is, what basic steps can you take to ensure it is good. Your gut health is good. Okay.
Mhm.
So number 1 is chew your food. Number 2 is drink water. And number 3 is choose your food wisely. Now, keep in mind that episode 4 is going to be about nutrition and habits.
Mhm.
And then episode 5, we're going to be going into supplements and support, things that you can do to support your gut health. Okay. So chewing your food
So
is much better. Okay. So guys, I have to, I come clean here, okay? Because I am not the best at chewing my food. Couple different reasons. First of all, I
You're
grew up in
training.
a household where I am the 8th of 10 children, right? And so if it was something really good that mom made, and if I knew I wanted seconds, I better eat really, really fast to be able to get any of that food. So guess what? I didn't chew my food very well, right? So yes, it comes from training and environment a lot of the time.
Mhm.
Because then, in my older years, when I became a police officer or in law enforcement, when I was a detective as well, that, when I would have the opportunity to go for my lunch or for my break, I had to eat as fast as I could, because I cannot tell you how many times I ended up leaving food behind because there was an emergency signal, a hot tone that would go off, and I would have to get up and I would have to go because somebody needed some help, right? And so I had a lot of training around that. And so I still struggle to this day in chewing my food enough. We can have the same amount of food sometimes, and I'm done like half the time it takes him to eat. That's not good. That is not a bragging point. So how much should we really chew our food?
Very frequently.
Yeah.
So keep in mind your target when you chew let me just give you the reason why. Because when you chew your food, when you put a bite of food into your mouth and you start chewing it, your saliva has enzymes in it that break it down. Okay, there's something called amylase in your saliva, which breaks down fat. It breaks down carbohydrates rather. And then, so when you start chewing your food, yes, you're breaking it down mechanically. You're grinding big chunks into little chunks, but you ideally want to liquefy your food in your mouth. And here's another thing. You have taste buds, and the receptors in your mouth, when you are chewing your food, let's say you took a bite of a hamburger, you are signaling with your taste buds and with your saliva to your stomach what is on its way. And your stomach starts producing the acid necessary to break down that hamburger. So you've got carbohydrates in the lettuce and tomato and the bread, right? Lettuce and tomato are going to be easier to break down than the bread, but it's going to be way easier than the protein, which makes up that burger patty. Even if you're eating plant-based protein and it's like an Impossible Burger or something like that, it's much more dense. So you want to make sure that the stomach acid is ready for what is coming. How do you signal your stomach? You chew your food. Here's your target: at least 32 times. Chew your food at least 32 times, up to 50 times per bite, so that you're swallowing liquid, not chunks. Because here's the other thing: digestion starts in your mouth. If you want to take the easy way and create that type 4 stool, start by giving it liquid. Chew it to liquid form so it goes down your esophagus into your stomach and then starts the digestion process. Well, it starts in your mouth, adds onto it in your stomach. And then when it comes out of your stomach, your liver contributes bile, another digestive enzyme, and your pancreas produces what is called trypsin or chymotrypsin, which is to break down the protein, further break down the protein in your small intestine. So that whole entire process from bite to out of your lower intestine into your colon is about 6 to 8 hours. So start by chewing your food properly. 32 to 50 times is going to be your target. Now, if it's a bite of watermelon, 10 to 15, easily. You can make a bite of watermelon liquid in 10 to 15 chews. But like a steak, or say if you're a fish eater and you've got some like marlin, it's going to take you some time. It's dense. 32 to 50 times, especially in your proteins.
I got some work to do. How about you guys?
She tries well.
I really do. I try to. And then the next one was water, drinking enough water in the day, right? And so you said 75 to 80 ounces per 100 pounds
of body weight
that you weigh, right? But in ounces, 75.
In ounces, yeah.
Okay.
Because that will keep your cells hydrated. And the more your cells are hydrated, the better, or the more your body is hydrated, the better mucus you're going to produce. Because mucus is like, remember the slip and slides when we were a kid? or it's a lubricated flat plastic surface. You squirt a hose on it, you slide across it. Mucus allows your food to go through your intestines much quicker. So the more hydrated you are, the more mucus your digestive system produces. And the more hydrated you are, the easier it is to digest. And the more you're going to be in the middle to the lower part of that, or the middle of that Bristol scale. You don't want to, dehydration is a very key sign of dehydration, is those little round pellets that come out when you should have a nice sausage shaped stool.
Yes. Yes. All right, guys.
So 75 to 80 ounces of water in a 24-hour period for every 100 pounds of body weight. That will keep you hydrated.
And it's
Now,
so important for us to
we need to
start with our
clarify.
kids too, by the way.
That's just water. That
Yeah.
doesn't count things made with water.
Yeah.
So if you make Kool-Aid or coffee or
Nootropics.
anything else, nootropics, it's just plain water.
Yeah.
Okay. 75 to 80 ounces for every 100 pounds of body weight per 24 hours.
Okay, so guys, this was episode 3 on gut health, the basics. Okay, so the basics is there for a reason. It's because we're going to be going more in depth over episode 4 and 5. So episode 4 is going to be about nutrition and specific habits that you can take, and
Implement.
chewing your food is one of those, right?
We will be redundant.
Yes, we will, but that's important because redundancy means it's important and you need to make sure you're paying attention to it. And then episode 5 will be about supplements and support that you can give to your gut for good gut health. Okay. So guys, keep in mind, we are here to just kind of give you some stimulus.
Good.
So,
yes.
so it's foreplay is all about, right? Is
It's
stimulating
all positive
behavior, right? So that's why wellness foreplay came into action, is because we are doing some investigations, because, you know, former detective, former doctor, we want to make sure that we're providing you with information that's going to give you the knowledge that you need, that we truly do know is the foreplay to your wellness. So guys, thanks so much for joining us today on episode
Yes, thank you guys.
3 of
Share it
Wellness
forward.
Foreplay. Yes, please share this forward. Make sure that you're following us, subscribe,
On
ring
the YouTube
bells.
channel.
Dondi and Marcy Nettles on YouTube. DondiandMarcy.com is coming soon, and we'll be uploading this as podcast episodes as well. So guys, thanks so much for being here with us. We appreciate you.
Take care, guys. See you next episode.